Boom! It's episode 86, and we got Stephanie Arcila in house today, in the middle of quarantine. Hola, Stephanie Arcila.
Hola, Rickmancia.
How are you? How you doing with this quarantine? How you been holding up?
I'm good. I think I took on a little too much in the beginning of it.
What do you mean?
Like I signed up for 3 online classes. I was doing 3 workout classes. I like all this stuff. The show was about to come on, so I was like, when normally I'm not on social media as much, and all my friends know this. They're like, you don't post that much. This time I started becoming more active in it.
Do you think it's more like the anxiety of like, shit, I don't have anything to do. I need to do something with my time and like get a class or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, you know me, I was busy for like 9 months.
Yeah.
Between the bar, between auditions, between studying. You know, we help out our friends. We help each other out with auditions as well and on set. So I didn't really, and Harley, any little bit of free time I had, I'd spend with Harley. Give him quality time
He lives a good life.
He does. I want to be Harley when I come back.
For real.
In another lifetime.
Or Nala. She's over there sleeping too.
Nala too. He hears snoring.
It's weird. I'm over it. I'll be the first one to say it. I don't give a shit what anyone says. I'm over it. The median age of death is 81. I'm just super skeptical of this. I'm like, I know it's a very real disease and it's very real. I know people are compromised, but I don't know, man. I don't know if this is the best way to approach it. I think we've
yeah, there's so many takes on it within also like the immune system. You know, when a baby is born,
100%.
you can't keep the baby at home all the time because his immune system is not. So we need, I don't know, something to fight this, right? So that we can build our immune system up as well. Yeah.
Immune support. It's the way you eat. It's what supplements you take. It's if you're working out. All those things strengthen your immune system, and that's really what's in your control. Like nothing else. Like whether you come in contact with it, that's kind of not in your control unless you stay locked up all day, you know what I mean? And even then, people get sick with their families and stuff.
Yeah. I definitely realized that I do not need to be paying for any type of gym.
Why?
I could do everything from home. Sure. It's crazy.
It's not the same, though. I miss it. That's the number one. The barbershop and the gym are the two most things I miss the most.
I don't. I have a friend, Francia, that was teaching. She's an actress, too. But she does yoga scope for fun.
Oh,
and she's been doing her lives, and that's all I need. Honestly, that was one of the first things that was getting me through the quarantine.
Yeah.
Her yoga scope, because it just brings me peace, yoga.
Yeah.
I never thought, when I was little, yoga?
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
I need to move. I need to go. And now it's essential
Slowing
for me.
Down.
Mm-hmm. Breathe.
It slows you down, but you're still moving.
Yes.
You know?
And it's sculpt, so it's a little more intense.
Yeah, you're doing a little pulsing and stuff. I've been doing a Zoom workouts with a little 60-day fitness challenge group.
Oh yeah, that's right, with Shakira too, and everyone.
Carlito. It's a bunch of us. Janelle. It's like 15 of us.
I guess the energy of having all the people around you,
that's what
it does make a difference. I think like after quarantine, I might not spend as much money as I used to on the gym.
But also like getting up and going is a thing too. Like I gotta get out the door and go. You go to a place. It's kind of like work. Like if creatives, I think the hardest time we have is like. That's why I want to buy a warehouse, right, where I have all this stuff set up, so that way I can just. And that's kind of what this place is, but I want a big one. I want somewhere where I can go and like work and then go home. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's been like, okay, the work, yes. The work, I need to get out to work. I've been working from home a lot. I like it. It's more in my comfort zone. My publicist knows this. I don't like going to events or doing the interviews and stuff. But now I've been doing the interviews from home.
And that's also what you pay her for, though. You know, it's like...
Yeah. But I'm comfy now at home doing the interviews from home. But also, going to set is something different, like getting up. But the gym... I'm saving time taking a shower at home, having everything. I mean, I know some gyms have showers as well, but it's the drive. Yeah. It's the drive. Yeah. I'm learning to be a little more tech savvy. I was not.
You're forced to.
I'm forced to. I'm not at all. For anyone who knows me, I am
not even terrible.
Not even a tiny bit. So I just opened my laptop up during quarantine and I hadn't opened it up in like a year.
In months.
A year.
I asked you, I was like, what's up with that laptop, that MacBook? She's like, I don't know, I haven't opened it. It has a virus or something. I'm like, oh. Just ignore it. I'm like,
Well, the virus was from that email that I told you about. That somebody once sent me.
Tell the story. It's kind of terrible.
Somebody once sent me an email asking for money, saying that their family member was really sick. And
we've all gotten those spam emails.
Well, but you know how I am.
Yeah.
So usually I'm like, oh man, this is
why?
Wow. Like I gotta open my heart up.
Oh my God! Don't be a sucker.
I didn't send them money this time. What I did was I looked it up on Google.
Yeah, good.
And I was like,
smart.
I looked up the name, the email, everything. I was like, is this spam?
Yes,
and
it's spam.
It popped up as spam. So what I did was, but because I'm not tech savvy, I didn't know you're not supposed to do this. I sent them a picture of an old lady flicking them off like this. And after I did that, boom, my laptop got bombarded with pop-ups.
I mean, part of it is also opening the email.
Oh.
You just can't open
Okay,
that
well,
email.
there you go. I didn't even know that either.
Yeah, none of it. I don't open anything. I delete everything. Unless it's like something I know or something I recognize or something I'm waiting for, delete it.
No, and if it's important, someone will find a way to contact you no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I say about my agents. I'm like, if I change my number or whatever, they'll find a way to get a hold of me. They have emergency contacts. They have all that stuff.
I changed my number December 30th.
Nice.
Right before the new year.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was like,
I haven't done that ever.
oh my God, it's so liberating.
That's kind of what I'm looking for.
Oh, it was so nice. I had that number since high school, since Florida.
I've had mine since high school, yeah.
I was holding on to it because it felt like I was still holding on to a little bit of home.
Yeah. Oh,
The area code.
Yeah.
The area code. It still felt like.
Speaking of which.
Yeah, it still felt like a little bit of home, so I was holding on to it.
But a lot of people have that number that you don't want to have.
Yes, there's probably been like 5 different versions of Stephanie in LA.
Yeah.
Like I'm growing, evolving,
yeah.
learning, getting to know myself, all of that. And with that comes people, and people go, and it's nothing bad. My heart will always be open and love all these people, but I just kind of wanted to cleanse the energy a bit with everything new that's been coming into my life.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. I am looking for that. Mm-hmm. I had the first experience once in my old computer. My hard drive crashed, and all my pictures, everything got deleted. And then I was like, oh, I don't really feel any different. I was like, I actually feel kind of better. Like,
it's okay. It's all here.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit. Like, it's weird. How did old people do it?
Yeah, no, I when pictures. I first moved to LA, I remember I hung out. I'm not gonna go into detail. When did you move to LA? I've been here 7 years now, as of January 11th.
So you got here what year were we in? 2013?
Mm-hmm. Well, nice. Yeah. Was it 2013?
And you were acting out in Florida?
In Florida and in Colombia.
When did you start? What age did you start?
Professionally, I started at, I think, 19. Yeah.
What about like
professionally?
What about like taking classes and shit?
Oh, taking classes, I started at 16.
Oh, so okay. So you already knew like at a young age.
I knew at 6 years old that I wanted to do this. I grew up in the studio. My dad's a producer. Mm-hmm. My mom would take me to set all the time. She said she would put me in the studio because I would beg her to let me watch the actors, and they would put a little chair in the corner for me. I would sit there she would tell me, you just can't say a word. You have to be quiet the whole entire time. Yeah. And she said I'd stay there. Like, she'd come up and check on me, and I'd like wave her off. Yeah, like, Mom, try to catch a look. And that I'd be there for 2 hours straight without saying a word, just in awe, staring at the actors. And would you like extroverted other than that? I'm assuming you were, right? Yeah. You were talking for the most part, and that was the only thing that would shut you up, is what I'm saying? Yeah. Damn, Rick.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of them too.
No. I think so, yeah, because my mom told me what she, like, how moms always talk about memories and all that stuff. And she would tell me that when we would go to the beach, to South Beach, that I would go around to everybody's little spot area and just talk to them. Nobody understood what I was saying because I was too little to even. Kid. It's just gibberish. Yeah. But I would go around. I would open their coolers, like, hang out with them, and they'd laugh. But yeah, I always was.
Whose baby is it? Somebody come get their baby.
But there's it's funny because you're like that when you're little, but then once I hit like my teenage years, I started kind of holding in all my emotions and not expressing them and just kind of hiding them.
You think it's because you were feeling unsafe or maybe unsure of what you were feeling? It's a confusing time to be a teenager.
Yeah.
I was so, my whole thing was like, I didn't know anything. So I'm like, let me just get to know everything. Let me explore everything because.
Ooh, that was not me at all.
You know.
No.
You
I mean,
cli-
I
you-
wish
you
that
went
would have
in
been nice.
instead.
Yeah, I went in instead. And then I started taking acting classes at 16. I remember my parents never wanted me to do it because they were in the industry.
Yeah.
So they put me in every single sport possible, which is great now because I have great muscle memory. So
Yeah.
whenever I work out, I'm like,
But
right
it's
away.
also like knowing how to move.
Yeah.
And team working with the team, like
Yeah, that too.
sportsmanship.
I don't think they realized that was all part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the things that I stuck with the most were soccer and what else? Soccer and boxing. But I did figure skating, boxing, gymnastics, judo, dance.
Dang, your parents got you in everything.
Yeah, I did everything. Flag football at one point, which I sucked at.
Yeah, of course.
But no, I think for me it was I got to 16, I was taking an acting class, and if your parents are still together, they go through rough patches, and at that time my parents were going through a really rough patch, and it really affected me, and I just shut off. And I remember my acting coach telling me,
Was it the first time that had happened? That they were going through a patch?
yeah, it was. I
so
think
you
it
just
was
didn't
the
know how to
first
and
time,
it's
at least the
fucked up.
first time from what I know.
Yeah.
And
You understood it. You know?
I was 16, and I remember my acting coach. I've always been with coaches that are very, what other people would call brutally honest, or just
like blunt?
Yeah, they're very
That's what you
blunt. They're
want.
just I can't have someone who's just like, hey, that was amazing. This no, I need someone who is like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. Can we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I remember I was on stage and my acting coach said, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "It's like the 2 years of acting classes that you just took went out the window and you have nothing right now." And then he pulled me aside later and we talked and I told him, how I was feeling, and he's like, what people don't get is that actors don't always turn off. They can't really turn off. We have work. We got to work. We express ourselves, and if anything, those emotions we got to use towards our work, and release through our work, and
Help other people release whatever the fuck they're holding on to through your work.
He was telling me about how one time he's like his mother died and the next day he had to be on set because he had work, and he's like,
I'm calling in set. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I would too.
That's an extreme, but
that's
I get
also
it. I get the sentiment.
Yeah. I mean, and it's also very an old school mentality.
Yeah.
Like I know old school theater actors that will be on set sick as a dog, but the show must go on.
You know what I think too? I think a lot of that comes from a scarce mentality. That the work's gonna dry up, and you better take it. There's always gonna be work. There's always gonna be a part. You might hit peaks and valleys. Right? You might be working a lot at some points and then not a lot of other points, but there's always going to be work.
You think it's also from like the Hispanic community, how we're brought up to be hard workers and constantly work and go nonstop.
I think what it translates to is just having a different way to work. Like the work ethic still is passed down, but not in the same way. Like, I'm not
values and morals, because I think our families, a lot of them are like, what will they think?
Yeah, exactly.
They're in that mentality.
Yeah.
What are they gonna think? What are they gonna think?
They don't understand it.
But it's beautiful now because it's all changing.
Yeah.
I see my mom, my dad, their growth. They're like not caring, because at the end of the day, we know our own truth.
Yeah.
So what does it matter what anybody else thinks? You know. I mean, we could be here right now, and in 5 minutes we could not.
Yeah. Who? I just why that's part of this. Like what this quarantine bothers me, because it's like, who are you to fucking tell me how to live my life? You can go and buy enough alcohol in one day to kill you. You can go and buy all the cigarettes in the world and smoke them all and kill yourself. You can buy drugs.
There's
you can do all
so
kinds
many
of stuff.
things.
Right?
It's
But I can't go outside. And the argument is like, you're affecting other people that it shouldn't. And I'm like, cool. Let the people that are scared or compromised have the option to stay home. But you can't lock me up like an animal. I can't. My immune system's strong. I'll risk it. I'll wear a mask. I'll wear gloves. I'll comply.
I mean, but then for people like that, like you and other people, they should. I mean, that's when contracts come into work, right?
When contracts, yeah. You
like,
just got one, right? Because you're supposed to be shooting soon, and you got a
yeah,
contract.
but they weren't specific. It wasn't. I didn't say anything about the coronavirus. I thought it did.
No, it's just it's
just
it's the insurance paperwork.
Yeah, it's
but
the
it's
insurance
much more in depth now.
Yeah, it's the insurance paperwork. So I'm assuming like based on all those other things that they're asking you, if health wise, is if you might be at risk, to catch it. Maybe, I don't know.
But it's also like they're trying to see what's a liability, what can we afford, how much is your insurance.
This is
cost?
all new to me, Rick. Like all these contracts, everything. I'm just going. I mean, remember when I didn't even know what a test was?
Yeah. And then you're like, I'm testing
I was
tomorrow.
like, I'll go. What do we, a test? Yeah, I'm testing, and all my friends are like, "Oh, that's amazing." I'm like, "Yeah, cool, whatever." But
I like tests. The only reason I kind of dislike them is because you got to agree to everything before you even do the damn thing, and that'll fuck with your head. Because you'll be like,
you think
a little bit, because say for example, right? For example, you're like, okay, this person's gonna test. All right, their rate is $35,000 an episode, and we're locking this rate in. You're gonna be locked in for 2 seasons, 10 episodes each season. So that's $350,000 a season. You're like, oh my god, $350,000 a season. I'm gonna do 2 seasons. That's $700,000. I'm gonna see at least 4 of that. And that's what starts getting in your head instead of like, what's the scene about? What are we doing?
Yeah, but that's when I think I've made that mistake in the past too.
Same.
But I like meditate and practice staying present and enjoying it because nothing is for sure.
Yeah.
Nothing is for sure.
I've been my heart's been broken too many times, so I can't really get excited over anything. Cause you know what I mean? Like you're just like you're there, and then it's no.
I
and
do.
And then I'm like, all right. I mean, I'm still grateful for things, but I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not gonna buy in. You know how when you go to a set and somebody's like, this is gonna be the biggest thing ever, and you're like, oh my god, is it?
I still get excited. I still get extremely excited. Like I remember my first day on Penny.
Oh yeah, but that's cool.
Oh my god.
First day on set's a big one though. I'm saying it's not in stone until you're there, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, but it's a step forward.
For sure.
It's still a step forward.
100%. It's a win.
It's we don't need that validation. We don't need it because that's just our ego, but it's nice.
We don't necessarily need it, but kind of do need it. Because it's like, that's really like, if you're it fucks with your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. What I was saying was when I was 16 I closed myself off.
Yeah.
And I was like, and my acting coach spoke to me. I said, in my head, I was like, okay, if I want to be an actress, I need to feel everything.
Yeah.
Even if it hurts.
Yeah.
I need to live it. I need to go through it. And this hurts and I can't block myself off. Because I was like that hard kid where it was like, okay, I don't cry. All this stuff, But
and it's a defense mechanism, so you don't open up that can of worms.
Now I cry when I'm happy. I cry when you know me. I'm like writing sweet messages to my friends and I'm crying at the same time.
Sending all the crying face emojis. But you started with novelas and stuff, right? Out in Florida, right?
I did.
That's a whole different game.
It is. It's like a boot camp.
Yeah.
You shoot, like here I shoot 2-3 scenes a day. Over there I shoot.
Which is like, you'll shoot, what do we do? They do them by pages, right? A page. What do they say? It's 10 minutes per page or something like that?
Is it? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it is.
Something
It is.
like
I think it is.
They calculate right around, roughly estimating. So it's like, if you're shooting, especially a big show like Penny Dreadful, where there's a lot of fucking costumes and all this shit, you might shoot a page and a half, 2 pages. How much are you guys shooting in novela?
Oh, in novela, we shoot like 15 minimum to 35 scenes a day, and the most I've heard from other co-workers has been like 53 scenes a day.
Fucking crazy.
And we get them the night before, so I remember we shoot Monday through Saturday.
1 day off.
1 day off, and that 1 day off, all you want to do is laundry and study.
Yeah.
So we shoot Monday through Saturday, morning to night. We get home at night. I mean, at least this is my routine, right? Yeah. I would get home. I would take a bath to just kind of relax.
Get the day off.
But study while I was studying. Sometimes I'd fall asleep in the bathtub from how tired I was. Then I'd go to bed and I'd study more. and I would fall asleep studying and wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning to continue studying because I didn't finish studying at night because I fell asleep.
Were you wearing earbuds?
No, not for Mariposa de Barrio. For one of them, I did.
Yeah.
Because one of the actresses kept insisting. She said, "Steph, you should start using it now before they make you use it, so that you can get used to it. Now that you have you don't have that many scenes."
So why don't you explain what the purpose of that earbud is?
So most of the time, what it's supposed to be, the purpose of it is supposed to be so that you can actually get more sleep.
Yeah.
So that's the purpose of it. But
So you don't have to do what you were doing, falling asleep in the bathtub, waking up at 4 in the morning.
I mean, a lot of actors just use it even if they have enough time to sleep.
Yeah. But they give you your lines essentially in your ear.
The show the Mariposa de Barrio that I did was the first show that nobody was allowed to use earpieces.
Why not?
Nobody. They wanted it raw. They wanted to connect. It was their first docu-series. It was a true story.
True story.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah. I mean,
Jen Rivera.
I just think in general, they just shouldn't use them.
It's a crazy story.
Yeah.
That whole family.
Yeah, I mean, I played
You're close
her.
with all of them, right?
Yeah, I got close with them through booking the show, and
I'm assuming they were on set and stuff.
they were on set once, but they live here. So since I live here, and Angelica, which has played Jenny Rivera, has become like a sister to me. Since we both live here, we met up with them, and we would spend time with them before we headed out to Miami to shoot. That was interesting.
Just kind of get their essence or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, Rosie was great. Rosie was amazing. I barely had to ask her any questions. She was an open book with me.
Beautiful.
I just spent time with her, observing her.
Yeah, that's really what you got.
All her movements, her everything, how she danced, how she spoke with her kids, everything.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was, I played her 17 to 31, and we didn't shoot in order.
Damn. Episode 17 to episode 31?
No, I played her from age 17.
Oh, age 17 to 31.
To 31,
Did they just use makeup and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, when they don't put makeup on me, I look like a baby.
But it's also like in movies or like shows or anything, if you just tell the audience, this person's 50, they're like, all right, well, he looks young.
Yeah, but nobody reckoned, because in the studio they have TVs in everyone's offices and in the makeup room, and even in your how do you say? I just lost my word in English. Camerino.
What? Camerino? Your trailer?
In your trailer, but these are just rooms we have within the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had TVs too, so we could watch everything as well as they were shooting.
What the hell is
if we wanted to? And everybody would tell me they didn't recognize me when I played her when she was younger, because I really looked. I mean, not anymore. This was like 4 years ago. And when I played her when I was 17, I gained 23 pounds for that role.
Got to eat.
So it looked like I had my baby fat too.
Pizza.
So I looked like a little kid.
What'd you eat?
No, I opted for the healthy route.
Really?
Yeah, I did rice. I did yuca. I didn't want to feel like shit.
You just carved up?
Yeah, I just carved
it does
up.
make you feel like shit.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I needed all the energy I could get.
That's another thing on set. There's a lot of food there and stuff. And how long was that shoot?
I shot. Other people were there longer. I shot like 62 episodes in like 4 months.
That's insanity. 62 episodes. That's
it's
crazy.
Insane, because we just did Penny Dreadful, and you saw there's a dance sequence, and those sequences were insane.
That'll be a whole week just planning that damn thing.
We shot those scenes in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I imagine, because you got to do the choreography and the dancing and the camera angles. You got 150 extras or whatever you got.
Look, I appreciate the telenovelas, and it was a boot camp for me, and it prepped me for LA. Even while I was here, I'm open. I'm always open to it. That was, a beautiful home I had. I'm open to it if it's the right project.
The Jenny Rivera is a good one. That was a huge story. She died in a plane crash, and it was a crazy huge story.
Yeah, and she was
a mega star.
Yeah, she was unapologetic, is what she was. That's why people loved her, because she was her.
She would fly out to, am I right here? Where she would fly out every weekend, right, to go perform in Mexico?
I mean, she flew out all over the U.S., all over Mexico, all over everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I would get that story too. Like, that makes a lot of sense. But that's such a grueling work, though. Yeah. I bet that was so heavy on you.
It was, my dad, he's in the industry, and at one point he told me, because I was getting a headache every day at 2:00 on the dot. Every single day, because your brain is processing this like if it's real, and you're going through. I'm going through.
All your shit's firing off. Your emotions, your adrenaline, your
Yeah,
stress, your cortisol.
It was a lot, but I should have taken my dad's advice, but I didn't at that time because I was so exhausted and all I wanted to do was sleep. But he told me, he goes, Steph, when you get home, even if you're exhausted, get on the treadmill for at least 20 minutes and release all of that. I don't think I was conscious enough or awake enough back then, at that age. But now I get where he was coming from and what he's saying.
It's probably something he's dealt with,
Yeah.
Where it's just like being on a heavy set. Everybody feels that shit when it's a heavy day on set. Like everyone,
yeah, I mean, he's been doing it forever.
Yeah. He's chilling in Colombia now, living it up. Well,
I know.
Quarantine, but.
I mean,
quarantine
in Colombia is not a bad place to be.
Yeah, for real. I'm assuming it's different over there too.
I mean, they shut it down really quick.
Yeah.
So they controlled it really
they still
quick.
shut down?
Yeah, they still are. But they controlled it really quick. I'm sure it's going to... Colombia, the past presidents, Uribe, starting with Uribe, did a lot for the country and has advanced a lot. So... They're good. They're good. Colombia is not a bad place to live in. It's crazy to think that like 15 years ago you couldn't even walk around with the earrings that I'm wearing right now.
It's like Mexico right now, in cartel places, right, where there's like extreme poverty and there's cartels, but there's I'm sure there's a little bit of everything. You just got a reputation for that because the movies, the shows.
But then it's like everybody in Miami, because I'm born and raised in Miami, and everybody in Miami. Nobody's from Miami. Everybody, you have Cubans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Ecuadorians, Venezuelans, Hondurans, Peruvians, everything there. And then I come to LA, and it's like, people are like, oh, what do they speak in Peru? Because my mom's Peruvian, and I'm like,
Spanish.
Who
says that?
And or they'll do the stereotype. So are you related to Pablo Escobar?
And
I'm like, what the?
It'd probably be funny. I think the biggest thing is like in Miami. The general consensus is you're Cuban, and in LA, the general consensus is you're Mexican.
But it's to the outsiders, because if you live in Miami, like you have all the Venezuelans that live in Doral, and everybody that lives in Miami knows that, and they even call it Doralzuela. You have all the Haitians that live in Little Haiti. You have all the Cubans that live in Little Havana. You have all the Argentinians that live from this street to this street on Collins.
We have that here too.
All the Colombians in Weston. Like it's a big. And most people know it. Like, I remember I took an ex once to Miami, and he was like, what is this? This is like a different country inside of the U.S.
Yeah.
But I miss that. I miss the culture of
Rains every day for like a little bit.
Yeah, I never thought I'd appreciate rain.
I was not into it because it's hot. And
I
it's like
love
humid.
it. My skin, I've never used lotion in my life.
Because it's humid.
Until I moved to LA, and now a huge thing of lotion will last me years because I don't have that habit.
Yeah. Neither do I. Yeah, I never had that habit. But you've been working on, it's released now, right? Penny Dreadful.
Oh, man, yeah. Penny Dreadful, City of
I read
Angels.
that script. It's a beautiful script. It's, because, I mean, like, every Latino in town auditioned for it. I think I think I was helping you with this one.
I think
or we might have read it, at least preparing for it. I don't
maybe
think I helped
read
you
it.
put it on
It's
tape.
always you or Luis that helps me out.
Shout out to Luis.
Harley.
Look at this guy. Look at this little tubby tub.
Yeah.
He just comfy, a bug in a rug. Harley.
A bug in a rug.
How's that been? How did that even come to fruition? I mean, I know the story, but why don't you give a story of like how that came to fruition?
Do you know the story?
Yeah. We talk about it.
I don't know. It's I honestly, it was unexpected but expected. You know, I work with a lot of like, oh, I would love for this to happen and this and this and that. Thank you. And then boom.
Announce it. Yeah.
So I call a lot of things forth, but I was taking an acting class. I decided to sign up right before pilot season right before pilot season? No, actually, it's like pilot season all year long now. Yeah, it was busy though. I remember it was busy. It was around June, July.
Usually it would be from like January to like April, May. It's all pilots, and then June was like recasting or whatever they had to do.
June, July is busy. Like,
I mean, it's busy all year now.
Yeah.
But back then it was just that was the beginning of the years when all the pilots got off. Now there's so many studios. It's all online. There's all kinds of platforms that it's literally all year long.
Well, it was busy throughout that time.
So you were going to school.
It
you
was
signed up to this class.
It was busy. I signed up to the class. I was terrified because I had heard so much about how incredible this teacher was, but also about how strict she was and how intense she was.
That's what you weren't looking for.
Yeah, but it's terrifying. Trust me. The
course.
week before, I tried to find any excuse to get out of it.
Same.
And not only that, I had some of my closest best friends telling me that it was a mistake, that I shouldn't,
why?
because I was testing, because I was getting like right to the very end of projects, but not booking them.
This is what I mean by like heartbreak, where it's like, that's what nobody sees, right?
But
everybody sees you on the regular. They're like, what have you been doing? What have you been up to? Even though you haven't shot anything, you're like, you don't understand. I've been in every fucking studio. I've read for every part. I've tested.
Nobody sees the work we
avails,
actually do before
callbacks,
that.
Meetings, all that shit. No one sees that.
Nobody sees it. Yeah, but I've learned to let go.
You have to. Yeah.
Yeah, I go in. The minute I walk out of that door, I forget about it. And if they call me, great.
Yeah.
What a great surprise. And if they don't, I already forgot about it. There's been times where I've gotten called and I have to ask my agent or manager.
This one, with Penny Dreadful, you had forgotten about it.
I had completely forgotten about it. I remember, so all my friends were telling me, why are you going to take a class right now? You're about to get there. Like, you keep testing, you keep chemistry reading, doing all these things. You're crazy. And I was like, I just feel it in my gut. I'm comfortable. I'm too comfortable. And it doesn't excite me anymore. I need something that challenges me. I need to get to another level.
Good. I'm glad you didn't listen, because that's...
And it was some of my closest friends, which was insane. And I didn't listen. I went with my gut, and my gut is usually always right. Mm-hmm. And while I was taking the class, I had some auditions. I had an offer, actually, while I took the class. I don't know if I can say it. I don't know.
Do you remember what it was about?
I know what it was. You know what it was.
It was about what?
You know what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But I had an offer for a show for FX, and I had already auditioned for them. Then they came back and they wanted me for a different character. I was in class, so my team went back to them and told them, hey, she can't come in. And that's when they were like, okay, let's see if we can, offer. And then after, I turned it down.
Why?
Because I wanted to go to class.
You were more intimidated of being like, I'm going to go into this project and I don't feel safe working.
No, not even feeling safe. It was just my gut. I was like, do I really want to fully immerse myself in the experience of this class and reap the benefits and the fruit of it? Or do I want to go do a guest star that's for 2 days and miss a big part of class? Because 2 days ends up being a week within, wardrobe, all that stuff. And this class was insane. Like,
table reads,
this class was about, it was basically 24/7. When you weren't in class, you were rehearsing. It was an all day class. It was an intensive. So I put it on a scale.
Pros and cons.
Yes. And was like, what do I really want? Is this going to make me happy? Or do I want to continue class knowing that there's still going to be more opportunities later?
Yeah, always. That's exactly what you just said.
I remember at the time I had another manager that thought it was a wrong decision. I thought it was a great decision, and I went with my decision. And I took the class, and while I was in class, I said, please let me be audition free. Please let me not book anything, which is nuts, right? For an actor to say, let me not book anything. Let me not book anything while I'm taking this class. And as soon as I finish this class, it would be amazing if I booked something. That class changed my life.
I think it's more of because I don't even think a lot of times it has to do with the class. I think it's more about what you were looking for and what you set your intention out to find That's what you're gonna go and find. The class is just the avenue, right? But if you don't give yourself the opportunity to show up and be like, all right, let me just dig in myself and see what I can come out with.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know. I knew I
You were
needed
open
it.
to it is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You were
I was
and
open to it.
receptive.
And the way that this teacher, her name is Elia Snyder, she's incredible. And it was at the Stella Adler Academy, and the class was in Spanish.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm completely bilingual, and Spanish is my first language, but it's a challenge for me to read classical plays like Tennessee Williams and Odets and Strindberg in Spanish because they sound 10 times cornier in Spanish.
Yeah. It
and
sounds corny in English.
I know, but it still sounds beautiful in English. There's a song to it, you know, but in Spanish, you know, everything in Spanish is way more romantic.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I can do this in Spanish, I can do anything in English.
Yeah.
And as soon as I finished the course, I think it was like, I don't know, like 5 days or a week later, I was coming out of a chemistry read for another show. I walked into my car.
But hold on, before you get to that, you're getting a call at this point. I'm saying, how did you even get to the call?
I auditioned for it before
Was it a
class.
self-tape or was it you going?
No, I went in.
Oh,
I
okay.
went in. I auditioned for it before class. I remember reading it. I remember saying, like looking it up and saying, "Oh, this is so freaking cool!" Because
We had talked about it. You helped me with the show.
Yeah.
With a read.
Because Danny was in it. Danny Zavato's in it, and
Yeah.
I worked with Danny on Here and Now for HBO. And I remember when I saw that, I was like, "This would be amazing if we get to work together." Like again, what are the odds, you know? So I auditioned for it, forgot about it, did my whole like.
How long went by?
So I got the call.
Yeah.
Probably 4 months.
Damn, that's what's crazy. So you're
4
walking out of a
months.
chemistry read.
4 months, yeah.
so you
I walked out of a chemistry read in Santa Clarita. These big studios, all the actors were there already, producers, executives, everyone. And I go to my car, and as soon as I get in my car, I get a call from my agency, and my manager's on the line. Everyone's on the line, and they're like, "Steph, so you booked Penny Dreadful City of Angels. You will be working for it."
Nice.
And I was
On
just
Showtime.
like,
Out now.
yes. I was just like, there was just a huge pause and silence, and my agent was like, "Steph," and I was like, "Yeah."
You're already crying.
And she's like, "Are you crying?" And then my manager was,
No, you're crying.
my manager Genevieve was like, "Yes, she is." And I was just so overwhelmed, Rick, because I hadn't worked in almost 2 years.
Yeah, that's what we talk about, like validation, right? It makes you question yourself, like, fuck, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right industry? Am I 2 years? What is this trying to show me?
I mean, I had already gotten to a pretty good mental, state where I can release it. Just go, release it. I started working on my spirituality, on my meditation, understanding that what's going to be for me is going to be for me, and being open to things, and that worked out so incredible for me because the rewards, once it did come, were so much greater, and the projects that did come after me working on myself were the perfect ones in the perfect moment. Like, I can't imagine being on the show without having taken that class right now.
Yeah, okay. It's so crazy how the timing worked out too.
Oh my
like you finished a
goodness.
class
I
right
got
when
to
you finished a class.
5 weeks of every single day studying, and she was brutal. Like, she didn't let you, if you walked in the door and there was no truth within you walking in the door, she'd be like, "Go back.
Oh, man,
What is that?
no. Yeah.
Walk in and believe it."
Yeah.
So
Because
it
you can
was,
smell that shit from a mile away.
oh my God. I think everyone in that class cried at some point.
Yeah.
At some point.
That's kind of how I feel about Diana Castle. It's like she was so brutal. You couldn't show up 1 minute
But
late.
it's not personal. Like,
No, if you
that's
showed
what
up-
actors need to understand.
yeah.
None of it is personal. It's class. It's for your growth. It's
They're there to push you.
yeah.
They're there to make you better. And that's what she would tell me. She's like, "Listen, I'm not trying to fix what's already there." She's like, "You clearly worked. You clearly done shit. We're trying to take you to the next level. The part that's going to come to you in
Yeah.
5 years. For you, it was the part that's going to come to you in a month from when you finish this class."
It was insane. It was insane. It was one of the happiest moments of my life. I remember driving the first day on set because it's in Santa Clarita. And
doo-doo-doo-doo.
I was just blasting my music, and you're coming from LA, and it's all city, 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 and then boom, just mountain, because you know that drive to Santa Clarita.
Yeah. Well, you kind of live in the mountains. You live in the
Not,
hills.
yeah, but it's different when you're driving and you're seeing the magnitude of all of that, of this world that you're in, and you're driving to set, and your dreams are coming true.
Yeah.
They're coming, into reality.
And then wardrobe and makeup is crazy because it's set in the what's the era?
1938.
It's in the 30s.
Yeah.
So it's all like zoot suit, but they already did this show. I watched because I was preparing for the first one. I watched the first one with the first one it did with Josh. Is it Josh Hartnett?
You mean the movie?
No, is it a movie? No, it's a show.
With
Penny
Edward
Dreadful.
James Olmos? The show, the Penny Dreadful. Yeah. It's a completely different story. Yeah, it's a completely different storyline.
Yeah, exactly. But I watched it and they were like, it's this, but not this. It's Latinos. I'm like, all right. So I watched it just to get like the mysticism and the magic about
and how the director works.
Yeah,
and all
exactly.
That, yeah.
So then, but just the project, and I'm like, because that's what's set in the. It might have been set in the 30s too. The original one.
Yeah, the original one was set, I think, in I think in 1830. I think it's in the 1830s.
Maybe he was like in a traveling
I might
caravan.
be wrong.
But it's but yeah, I mean, all of that goes into consideration when you're pulling up the set. Like you're gonna get in this crazy makeup, and you're the makeup and hair they do on you is so different.
Nothing like me. Mm-hmm. Nothing like me. It's amazing. I'm telling you.
It's set like Pachuco, L.A., 1930s, gentrification, real life shit that's still happening.
Yeah, the beginning of a lot of things that happened and that are still kind of, it's a reflection of a lot of things we're going through today. But it's, the Christy is our wardrobe designer. Her and her team did, wow.
I'm sure it's got to be
if
fun
they
for
don't
them
give
too,
her, that's the thing. We get to do what we love.
Yeah.
That's why it's so much fun, because we love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's hard. Very hard. It's one of the hardest careers. Like,
long
honestly,
hours.
if you don't love it and you're in it, I think you're insane.
Yeah.
Because it is so mentally tough.
If you're trying to make money, you can make.
Don't be an artist.
I mean, but it's because people see what you make.
You can eventually.
Of course, but I'm saying you can't get to the money if you're after the money.
It's a lot. Yeah, you can't think of it like that. It's for the love of art. You got to invest a lot of money. You got to invest in classes. You got to invest in headshots. You got to invest in.
You can expense all that because it doesn't make. If you're looking at it as an investment, as like say like a business, my investment is not safe in this career choice because I have to spend so much and have to go through so much to maybe get something.
It's one of the most unstable careers. That's why it's so important to have a good team. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't understand when teams drop you if you haven't worked for 2 years or a year and a half. It hasn't happened to me, thankfully.
Not the right
knock
team.
on wood.
Yeah.
But like actors are so scared to drop their team because their team isn't working for them, or because their team doesn't look. If your team doesn't believe in you, or if you're not getting any audition at all, what's the difference if you don't have them?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not gonna get more auditions if you don't have them or if you have them. If they're not working for you, bye. But you need a solid team that believes in you. That's the most important part. That believes in you and was gonna be there through the lows and through the highs, because this is one of the most unstable careers. How are you gonna drop someone when you know that there are dry seasons for actors sometimes?
But not only that, you imagine they would have dropped you right when you're like right before you're about to hit and you're at this breaking point. Because you really get to these. It's really when you get a booking is when you're at a breaking point. It's like when you're like, I can't give any more. Boom, booking comes through.
I know.
And it's like, imagine if they would have just dropped you at that moment because they don't see what's right about to sprout.
Yeah.
You go planting seeds.
It's you too, man. You can't, acting is not there are people with huge egos there, but I don't believe that it's a career for the ego.
It's not sustainable. Word gets around.
Destroy you. It will destroy you, and you want to have a community. You want to have, build those relationships, and not only that, by opening your heart up and being kind and being great to work with, you're gonna work more. Work gets you work, and
people like to be. You have to be around people for 15 hours a day, and if it
becomes like a family. You literally live with them. I had 19-hour days on set.
So So if somebody's an asshole, you don't want to spend 19 hours a day with an asshole. And a lot of times, I've gotten hired on gigs just because they're like, dude, I love you. You're great. Can you just come work with us? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll work on you. I love you guys. Because that's what it is. You got to be there doing sometimes some hard shit. Like some scenes are uncomfortable. You're in the heat, or you're in the cold, or you're in this weird wardrobe, or you're in...
Or it's supposed to be hot and it's freezing cold.
Yeah, you're in these weird situations where you're like, you're in your underwear, you're some weird shit. And yeah, if you're not around somebody you want to be with, I think a lot of it has to do with that. Who do you want to work with? Who do you want to work with?
And just gratitude, man.
Yeah, just being grateful for being
Gratitude. We have so much, and in these moments of scarcity, you know, within our careers, within our life, and when we think we're the moments where I've been at my lowest, I pull out my gratitude journal and start writing. I am grateful for this and that. It could even be like, I am grateful for the sun right now, or I am grateful for this person that brought me tea today. Anything.
It's just to get your mind into the receiving, grateful sense.
And because you start realizing how much you actually do have, because it's so it's so easy to focus on what you don't have.
Yeah, yeah.
But we have so much.
I always trip out on that when I go like anywhere else, Mexico or El Salvador or somewhere where these people live in a hut. And they're just inviting you, entra, you want some coffee? You want, ¿qué quieres? Tengo tortillas, whatever. You're like, damn, yo, you have nothing. And they're just happy, and they're laughing, and they're grateful. Your parameters are different. But I'm like, what do they have that we're forgetting here? We're getting so caught up in the materialism in this first world that we forget most of the good shit is free.
It's the giving culture, man. It's
yeah.
Did I ever tell you what happened to me the first time I started my gratitude journal?
No.
It was nuts. The first time I started my gratitude journal, I had like a breakfast date that day, and I wrote.
I love breakfast dates.
And I wrote, but the guy cooked for me. He had like a whole buffet set up.
Buffet.
Buffet. And I had.
That's a fucking keeper.
Buffet. ¿Cómo se dice buffet?
Yeah, buffet. I don't know.
And I wrote on my gratitude journal, thank you for so-and-so making me breakfast this morning. Thank you. And mind you, in this moment, I was so low on income. I barely had money to eat. I was eating at work.
And this guy's making you a buffet. You're eating like a baller.
Yes.
But you're broke as hell.
Yes. In the middle of the mountains, too.
Yeah. Oh,
he lived in the middle of the mountains, everything. It was incredible.
I feel like at my lowest moments, I've had the same experience where I'm like, I'm in a baller hotel with $0 in my account. You know what I mean? You ever had those experiences where you're just
yes. Well, I wrote that down, and then I wrote, I don't know, a bunch of things. Oh, Meli had given me that journal, Melissa Marti, and I wrote in the journal also, I'm grateful for, once I wrote the breakfast thing, the guy texted me as soon as I finished writing that. Then I wrote, I am grateful for Meli giving me this journal.
Shout out to Melissa Marti.
And then Meli texted me. I wrote, I just wrote a bunch of things. And that day was one of the most, I couldn't stop crying. Was one of the most beautiful days I've ever had. I had to rush to go to work at one point, and I remember I lived around the corner from a smoothie shop. Remember the lofts that I used to live in?
Oh yeah, in Hollywood?
Yeah. So I lived around the corner from a smoothie shop, and I used to
the
when I had
Body Energy spot. Yeah.
When I had money, I had smoothies every day.
You walk Harley.
I just walk him downstairs. Plus, they give him peanut butter. He's so happy to be there. And I remember one time the guy told me, he goes, hey, Steph, even when you don't come grab a smoothie, like, come visit us. Like, we love seeing Harley. We love seeing you. Come visit us. We'll give Harley some peanut butter.
He's like, let me get that number.
So that day, even though I was doing my...
That's what he was doing. He's trying to get your number. He's like, come by.
No.
Cook for y'all. Make a buffet.
I am oblivious to those things. But
I know you are.
But I remember I walked by and... the guy was like, you're not going to grab a smoothie today? And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm just going to eat at work. I just came by to visit. Harley's grabbing his peanut butter. You know, I'm good. Yeah. And he's like, oh, all right. And I leave. And when I leave, he comes running out. I hadn't eaten yet that day. I literally was eating at work, like, trying to save any money I can to pay rent. And then he comes outside. I never told him this. I got to thank him one day and tell him where I was at. And he comes running outside and he's like, Steph, this is the smoothie you normally have, right? This is a to-go version of it. You have the almond butter dream, right? And I was
what
like,
a dream.
yeah. He goes, just take it. Just take it. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, just
Smoothie's
take
gonna
it.
make this girl ball in the middle of Hollywood. Is it
I was
Sunset? No, that's
starving.
Hollywood, right?
It was Hollywood and Vine. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was starving. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, just take it. You're good. And I was like, thank you. And I turned her on and I got home and I was bawling. I changed real quick to go to the bar to go to work. And that as soon as I got to work, like probably 20 minutes into going to work, my dad texted me, hey, Steph, give me a call when you get a chance, which is weird.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it must be important. I go outside, call him, and he's like, hey, so the IRS just returned money to you that they owed you.
Damn.
Because I had gotten charged for like some acting classes that they didn't believe that I was going
Ah.
to. Years, this is what's so crazy, that these moments come in the moment, like
When
when
you
need
need
it the most.
Yeah.
This had happened like 3-4 years ago,
Damn.
the whole IRS thing. And then all of a sudden he's like, they're returning your money. And it was rent and more.
Oh shit. We going to Sizzler.
And I was just like, what? I was bawling. I was like,
nice.
I cannot believe this. That was my whole day, just receiving,
That's an
receiving,
intense
receiving,
day.
receiving
I'd
after
love
being down for so long. And the one who got me on the gratitude journal was Ernesto.
Oh, Ernesto.
You know
Shout out
what?
to
He's
Ernesto Reyes. Is it Reyes? Yeah, right.
Yeah, Reyes. One of those things, I'm so grateful for him because there's very few people that can love different parts, different phases of you. I've told you this before. I'm so grateful to my friends that have loved all the different Stephanies that have been here in LA. When I first moved here, I've changed so much. I've grown so much. And my friends that I have,
you.
my friends that I have right now have loved all of those Stephanies unconditionally. And I know that some of those Stephanies were not easy to put up with. And he saw me. He saw me. He saw my heart. And he just kind of like, you never know what you can say to someone. That's why our words are so powerful. You never know. You can be that little key that pops them open and makes them see a whole different world.
Little things like a smoothie, a free smoothie.
Oh my God.
Will change someone's day. So crazy.
Yeah, a smoothie, a smile. You know,
Yeah.
when you're sad and you're walking,
Somebody
you're
gives you
going
a
for a
smile.
walk and someone smiles at you. That just makes you feel good.
Yeah. It's contagious. It's contagious.
Yeah.
It's good energy. Mm-hmm. That's why when I see somebody who's just down and out, like just mad and just, I'm like, man, like they've been given so much bad energy and so much bad data. And now this poor person walks around wearing that shit. They wear it like a garment, like an outfit.
Those are the people that need the most
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
The most love. Like, that's why we got to be compassionate. We got to have empathy. We got to love, because you never know.
Yeah.
That person will be your boss the next day, too.
For real. And that happened. It's funny because in the industry, that's how you learn real quick, too. 1 year, I've met PAs, right, 7-8 years ago that are now like directors, right?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, a PA is a production assistant who does fucking everything on set. I mean, they're picking up chairs and moving tables. PAs do everything.
They're freaking awesome.
But that's like the entering ground for everybody. It's kind of like doing background for actors, right? Everybody kind of comes in and they do this and they kind of figure out what everyone's job is. You get to know what the set is like. You're working like a dog. And then you pick your direction and you go towards that direction. But people get stuck in those things. That's the problem, I think.
Yeah. I mean, some people love it. Some people love it.
Yeah.
I mean, even our doubles on set.
Yeah.
Oh my, they're so freaking good.
Yeah.
I remember watching them for the first time. They know all of our lines,
Yeah.
everything,
But
and they're great
this is
actors.
what you got to think about, though. A lot of times, they're stuck in that, right? Because I remember doing years ago, right? I would do background or whatever. And these people were like stand-ins. They had that on their resume. They were known as stand-ins. And in their mind, one day being a stand-in, some director is going to be like, oh, this is a great actor. Like, oh my God, look, they know the lines. And it doesn't work that way, though. Unfortunately. The way it works is like, this person's great. We can bring them in as a double forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just taking that step. If you're good, I know stand-ins that have.
It's scary because they have consistent income. If you're a stand-in,
yeah, they
on
have
a
better
bunch of
income than us.
That's what I'm saying. If you're a stand-in from show to show to show. You're consistently working throughout the whole year.
Yeah, I think one of the stand-ins was like a stand-in for 3 different characters.
Yeah.
So he was there more than we were there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, they're not making your rate, but still, you know. But they have stability. They have, and that's the danger of like leaving that, because then you have to audition and maybe
but that's people's own journey. You know, they
For
gotta.
sure.
That's the steps that they gotta take and kind of reflect and look back and ask themselves what they really want. And if they're happy in there, amazing, because it's great. I see
win.
them; they have a blast.
Yeah.
They're incredible actors too, and but they're happy there.
Yeah.
And if they're not, jump out.
If
Take
it ain't
that
broke,
step. Take that leap.
don't fix it if it ain't broke. Mm-hmm. You know. Okay, well, we're almost out of time. What is your message, Stephanie Arcila, for the people? What's going to be your closing thing or whatever? It doesn't have to be related to anything we said. It's just whatever you want. Whatever.
No, it's what I kind of live by, you know? I mean, we can get fired from a job that we don't love. You know, so we might as well take a chance on doing what we love. And we don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know what in 2 minutes is going to happen. So why not? I mean, especially now going through everything that everyone's going through, you know, you're going back to, nothing is for sure. And we're going back to what's really important in our essence and in ourselves. So just take that time to reflect and check in with yourself and ask yourself and take that leap. Why not?
Yeah.
My brother quit his engineering job to become a videographer, and he's happy as hell. He took that leap.
Yeah.
I'm so freaking proud of him. Why not?
Your happiness is priceless.
Yeah.
You know, it's priceless. And if you're gonna be taking a job because it's easy or whatever, especially now, this is what I love about this time. In a lot of ways, it's exposing us to like your job isn't assured. They could fire you. They could lay you off. The company could shut down. It could get bought up. The whole industry could go up. Like. Nothing is assured, but we have this illusion that because it's someone else's thing, we have a safety net.
Yeah.
Right?
Paint your own life, man.
Yeah.
Paint your own
You might as
life.
well take a shot. I mean, it's harder for some people to have kids and whatnot, but if there's a will, there's a way.
Yep.
You know.
Especially if they have kids. They
Yeah.
make shit happen.
Yeah.
When you have kids,
That's
you
a
make
motivator.
shit happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got a little kind of a kid here.
This is my baby. My little baby. Snoring.
Well, that's episode 86. What's your Instagram? Stephanie Arcila?
At Steph Arcila.
Oh, at Steph Arcila. Okay. Arcila. All right. Thank you for joining us. Episode 86. It's been a long time in the making, by the way. This has been like
Like a year and a half.
like a year and a half in the making.
I'm glad it's now, though, when
Yeah.
I'm in a different mental
yeah,
space.
it's probably see what I'm saying? Everything works out perfect in the perfect timing.
Curious Radio.
Hi, Harley. Hi, Harley. Look at this, buddy.
Sleepy
All right,
head.
y'all. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. Enjoy your quarantine. Be safe. Cover your face. Wash your hands. Wear gloves. Do all that jazz. But be cool. All right. See you next week.